Hey friends, it's Stacy here with Stacy Makes. Welcome back to this channel. My name is Stacy and we do crochet stuff here. So this week's video is a market prep video. I am preparing for our last show of the season and I am so excited that it is coming to a close for a while and I can redirect my focus to other things. It's like, yay, the holidays are coming and I'm ready to start focusing on wrapping presents and just enjoying my family time and things like that. So I'm still planning to crochet. It's just maybe at a different pace or with different thoughts in mind, you know. So this week I am going to show you guys some new patterns that I tried. I know you can kind of, if you might be able to see some of this mess over here, that is my piles of things I want to show you guys. I did so much this week. I had an extra 3 days off, which included Thanksgiving Day, and I had a family thing on that day, but I did have extra time off this week and I got an amazing amount of stuff done. I feel like for still getting my Christmas tree up, still doing a Thanksgiving thing, still being home with my kids and stuff. So I am super excited to show you all that, including some new patterns that I tried. So I'm going to be showing you what I made this week, talking about, I think I have 4 new patterns that I tried this week. And then I want to talk about my plan for this week. Going into the market is on Saturday. And then my plan for Christmas as far as gifts and things like that. And then I want to maybe talk about my plan for next year. So let's get right into it. And if you guys watched last week's video, you could tell that I was talking 10,000 miles a minute, trying to get in everything in a short amount of time because I was rushing off. This week I have no plans, no schedule, and I am super excited to just relax and just be able to speak fully about everything I really did and just take some time to really go over it very well. So this video may be a lot longer than last week's, but also I do have more things to talk about. So if you do see my eyes shifting a little bit, I do apologize. I am recording on my phone and on a new vlogging camera that I have. I'm doing both at the same time because I haven't used the vlogging camera yet for an actual full-length video, and I am afraid that I'll get all the way to the end and the sound or the video or something won't be good and I will have to redo this whole thing. So I'm like, I'm just gonna set up both and that way if the vlogging camera footage isn't good, I can go back to my trusty phone footage. So, and then I'm going to let you guys know what I think about this really cheap vlogging camera that I purchased all on my own, not affiliated at all. I'm just being cheap and didn't want to spend $500 on the one I know everybody is using, even as the basic model. So anyway, we'll talk about that some maybe in a future video. The first thing I want to talk about, I did do this pattern test for Melly Inspired Crochet. We talked last week about the Arctic Fox that I did. This was the other pattern that I still had left to do from pattern testing last week. This is her teeny baby deer pattern, and oh my gosh, it's adorable. It's no sew. This one in particular, you do the ears and little horns and the tail and the round too. So like there's even less to sew with this one than there was the fox because you made its tail and you had to make 2 ears. So there are less pieces here. You just make arms, legs, and then you get started and it just all crochets into the round. The easiest deer I have made so far. I do have a couple other deer on my list of things to make at some point just because this is deer country out here, and a lot of people are starting to use woodland animals and things in their nurseries. So, but anyway, it is super cute. If you can see the eyes I used I hand painted these eyes. They're kind of gold flecks, chameleon kind of changing color eyes. I don't know if you can see them at all. And then this is like a little mistletoe pattern that she included in the pattern itself. There is a mistletoe, a bandana, and a ascot, which is kind of like a scarf that you can put a button on. And then I just embroidered the nose and the mistletoe. That's Naughty Ball yarn. And then the rest of this is Premier Basics chenille. Super easy pattern, and really for the only thing I would change, and this is not about the pattern itself, but is more along the lines of, I think I put the eyes down a little too far. I wish they were up one more row towards this color change on the top. But once I got them all pressed in, because they are sinker eyes, I wasn't about to try to get them out. So they are where they are. But super cute. I don't think I'm going to have a problem selling this at all. I was debating whether or not to put the red nose and the little mistletoe on it, because it might make it look too Christmassy, but I think it'll be right on theme, at least for this market, and hopefully people will just still enjoy the fact that it's got those little accents on it. But anyway, I would make this pattern again. I think the color changes, these are just embroidered spots, but the color changes actually turned out pretty balanced on the head, and then they stop at the bottom part, and then it all goes solid, and then these color changes on the little hoofs or arms or legs, whatever you want to call them for the deer, are pretty simple, just straightforward. So I love it. It's so cute. I'm gonna put 28 on this little deer as far as trying to sell it for the market. So, and you're just gonna have to excuse me as I throw everything over here, because I don't have anywhere else to put stuff. Because I am out of space in here. Okay, next thing I did this week was I pattern tested for Madeline Mako. I'm in her Patreon, and she is working on her, I make her baby cow pattern. I think you've seen it, I'm sure, before, which I really enjoy. It's an older pattern of hers that she has included on her Instagram. I believe she's included some instructions on how to make the baby cow, how to sew more things into the round, because she doesn't in the pattern. But then she's got those mods in this pattern. She's working on re-releasing her baby cow with her updates to it. But then she's adding a longhorn cow that has obviously the horns to sew on the top. And it has color changes for spots. I really enjoyed this pattern too, which it's pretty much the baby cow pattern that I'm used to doing, with the addition of spots. I do yarn over. One of my things I would like to maybe try to get into the habit of doing in the spring is doing a little bit more of yarn undering, doing yarn under. I find that on patterns that are written by people who yarn under, I yarn over. So one, it makes my stuff a little bit longer, because a yarn over makes a taller stitch. A yarn under compresses it down a little bit more. So my rows are just taller in general. So like his head is taller in general than, like, say Madeline's head, because she yarn unders. And then also because of my tension, my seam will drift, and it drifts to the point where this spot is supposed to be more here, and it is obviously not. It is more on the side, because my seam just drifts so far that it ended up being more to the side instead of where it was supposed to be. Anyway, these are hand painted eyes again, greens, so pretty. I love these eyes. I love the way that they came out. I did size down for the horns, which was painful, because they start in such a small magic ring, which it's just necessary on patterns to do that sometimes. I mean, I have to do it for some of my stuff too, and you continue kind of in a very small, and then it's just fluffy yarn. So I did struggle a little bit, but that's just something I would do on anybody's pattern that has really small, long tubular shaped things like this, just because but I wanted to size down because I didn't want the horns, the way I yarn, because I yarn over, my horns were going to be taller and longer than hers. So I went down a hook size for my horns. This is Premier Basics chenille again. You can see his eyes, so freaking cute. Oh my gosh, this might be like one of the most favorite cows I've made to date. I'm gonna put 28 on him as well. I usually do 26 on her baby cows, but I'm gonna do 28 because of the added longer horns, and I do have hand painted eyes on this guy. So Fabulous pattern by Madeline Mako, which I knew it would be, because she does a great job on that. Okay, this is probably my favorite make of the week, and for a while, like this is like been my favorite make that I have for a long time. This is the Succulent Turtle pattern by Happy Turtle Crochet. Let me look at this thing. It is just amazing. I bought this before Black Friday sales, but she is having Black Friday sales going on. I don't know when they end, but I did go back and buy her rose pattern, and I had bought the daisy at the same time I bought this. She has several other patterns, and they all look amazing, but this one was just brilliant. I mean, the way that I love to try a new designer's patterns, because sometimes I just really find I'm looking forward to some difficulties, but then they had found a way around them. So what I'm going to explain, I'll explain that a little bit. And that is that, you know, you make these flippers like normal. The front ones are a little bit bigger than the back ones. You actually make a tail for this turtle, which most of my turtles that I make, like the Fred, you make it in the round, but you actually make a separate tail. You make a separate head, which you don't close on, and this is not a no-sew pattern. You do have to sew this head on, but I didn't mind it. I don't mind sewing if it makes something better, and it actually covers up the place where you transition the colors anyway, which is brilliant of a designer to think of that, you know, when they're doing their design, is that, you know, you don't have the weird color change back here. You have it under where you sewed that head on, which is just the way it should be. So what I was not looking forward to was, I assumed, because I mean, that you would get this done and then you were going to go back and surface crochet these on, and they are surface crocheted on, but she has you stop, and so you make a green, and then this is sand. You make a green and then like a sand colored circle. You start at the top and work your way down on this one. And you do the green in these front loops only, so it makes like this spiral of little unused front loops. You do it in the back loops only, so it leaves front loops exposed. And then when you stop here at the sand, she has you go ahead and do this, which is just the way, again, it should have been, because it's so much easier to work in the front loops only of something when you can get to the back. You can hold it to manipulate it better, because it's not already attached to this huge pot, and the body and all of these pieces are already together. So it was just, it didn't take near as long as I thought it would. And then you can pull your tails, your starting tails and your end tails, you can pull them in and work them into the shell on the inside without having to find a way to weave them all in. Like, I literally just took a crochet hook and pulled them through the other side, and I actually tied them together to secure them a little bit more. But you can see these eyes have a little flower. I'm trying to show you on both cameras just in case I have to use both. There's like flowers and stuff in it. These were made by Cat Cake Crochet for me a long time ago, back when I did my was it Dahlia or Darla, the baby dragon? I can't remember which one that one was. And she sent me an extra pair or two, and so I thought, because of the little leaves and the flower in there, that this was a perfect chance to use that, because of this is a plant turtle. But anyway, I love this guy. I think that there are enough plant lovers out there that are going to look at this and be like, I need that in my life. And they're maybe not necessarily a little girl, or maybe more like a tween girl who loves plants, but, you know, also kind of still loves plushies. But anyway, I love this. This make was so fun. I did it, obviously, this is jumbo yarn. When I read the pattern, it was written and stuff for Sweet Snuggles Light. But I just used regular Sweet Snuggles because I wanted it to be big enough to justify the work so that I could charge what I needed to. And I love it. It came out to be a great size. This guy, I'm going to put 40 on this. I would say this turtle in total took me maybe an hour and a half. Obviously, it was the first time I've ever done it, and I was just kind of doing it while I'm on break, and so I was interrupted a few times and stopped a few times, so it's not like I got to do it straight through, but I would say it was just a good hour and a half, not much more longer, maybe an extra 10 minutes than the turtles that I do, which I charge $35 for, and you have all of this detail on it plus the really special eyes. So I definitely love this guy, and we'll be making this guy again. So Happy Turtle Crochet Succulent Turtle pattern. And if I get, this video should be posting on Sunday, and last I checked, this pattern was still on sale. Worth every penny, guys. Okay, I have one more that is new, and that is this little hammerhead shark. It is by that French people that make the stingray that I also can't say. And someone last time was like, oh, but it's this, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's AU, like aw, I'm assuming that's aw, and it's DOUX, which I think is do, and it's cotton, cotton, maybe, I don't know, I'm sure I butchered that. But this is, I bought both their mini hammerhead and this regular hammerhead. This is the regular in Burnette Blanket. So you start here and you work your way back, and then you do a closing of both sides basically, and you do weave in, and then you have to reattach. That's probably the trickiest part of this, which, I mean, it's not really tricky, it's just if you haven't done a pattern before where you've had to basically do that, close it up, and then start again and work your way back. I did that on a stingray pattern before, so I had experience with that. Also, there are a couple slip stitches that are built in this body right in here, which make this tail curve, which I assume is by design, but it doesn't really show the curve in the photos because I kept going back and looking, thinking maybe, like, where are these slip stitches supposed to be? Like, you do them for 2 rows in a row. Because I yarn over and my seams travel, I was worried that I was putting slip stitches on the side when they should have been under or over, and maybe they are, but for me they ended up on the side, which made the tail just kind of curve, and I'm assuming that that was by design. I'm not sure, so I'm hoping that it was by design, because either way it worked out just fine. This is a no-sew pattern, but you do have to, like I said, reconnect in here and then weave in an end, and then you surface crochet all of these fins on. And the most annoying thing about sharks, I mean, I love sharks, guys. I love sea animals, period. We live nowhere near the ocean or sea animals in general, but I grew up loving sea animals, but I get so weaving, like just doing all the surface crocheting is just, the tail is not surface crochet and this isn't, but you do both of these fins, this fin, and then this little fin. So you do these 4 fins, so you have a starting tail and you have an ending tail. And so you have 8 tails that you have to weave in and tie back in and then find a way to hide. And that's on this little bitty thing. And I feel like that takes more time than just making the thing did half the time. So will I make it again? I think I will. I think I'm going to try it in a jumbo yarn. This is Burnette, so he came out a pretty good size, but the size that he is, I don't think I can charge more than 10 for him. But one of my newest things I like to do is taking a pattern and making it in the jumbo yarn, just because it's bigger, takes up more space, and then when I charge 20 bucks for it, it's like nobody is, they don't bat an eye as much as the work that would maybe go into this. So I think I'm going to put this at 10. That's what I wrote down, but I think if I made this in jumbo yarn, I would be able to do 15. That's kind of my hope, because I think I could still do it in about 35, 40 minutes and do 15 on it. It's pretty good. I mean, if you could make, and when you get more used to it, if you could make 2 in an hour and do 15, that would be a really good price point. And I don't know, maybe the mini one has less fins, I don't know, but it's like you don't want to take the fins away, because you know that the fins are serving a purpose, and that is that it's making it look like the animal that it's supposed to be, right? And so it's like you don't want to take that away, but at the same time it's like you want it to be a quick market make so that you can, you know, get your money out of it and your time and stuff out of it. So I'll do cotton. Sure, that's what we're going to call it today. Obviously, every pattern that is in this video, unless I forgot one, will be linked in the description below. So if you're wanting to go find these for yourself, I usually link the Instagrams, and I do Instagrams because Etsy links will sometimes be changed, go away, they expire, they renew them, they're different. So I do Instagrams, and then you can find all of that designer's links. And sometimes Etsy is more expensive than sometimes these people have their own websites, and their patterns are cheaper on their websites because Etsy charges so many fees. So then you get a choice as to where you want to shop. So anyway, hammerhead shark, cute pattern. We'll try it again. Kind of annoying if you don't like to surface crochet stuff and try to find a way to weave in all the tails. I mean, it was doable. But I'm going to try it in jumbo yarn next time. So there he is. Okay, super cute. That was my last pattern that I did. That was somebody else's pattern. If you see this, I don't know if you can see this chicken, depending on how I cut this video, whether you can see this chicken sitting here or not. But that is my pattern I am working on. I don't know if it's something that I'm going to, I think I'm going to test it and have it released. And it's nothing extravagant, obviously. But let me walk you through the evolution of this pattern. I started with Naughty Ball yarn, and the color changes are just because I ran out of this yarn, changed to this, and I was at work on my lunch break working on this, and I had what I had. This was my first draft of this pattern in Posh/Naughty Ball yarn, which is a small yarn. So if I was looking for something that was going, when made in jumbo yarn, it was a really good size, but also could be made in Burnett and whatever and still be worth the time and energy in a smaller yarn. And this ended up being a great test of shape and stuff, but it definitely was bigger than I had hoped for it to come out. He sits flat, his little feet come out, the little wings are sewn into the round. You surface crochet this comb on, and this is all sewn into, so it's no sew. This was my first attempt. I'm going to call him the medium chicken because the next one you're going to see is the smallest, and I'm going to go ahead and try to sell him at 15 just because he's still sellable. And then we went to, this is still Naughty Ball / Posh yarn, and I made a few changes to it, shaped it a little bit more, changed obviously how many rounds there are and how big he is. I shortened the beak a little bit, changed the comb. Way more happy with this size. So this is like pretty much the finished pattern. I did make one change, and I did shorten these feet here. You can see in here. I did shorten those around on the next version, which is in the jumbo yarn. I'm going to do 15 on this guy too. And then here he is in the jumbo yarn, which was what I was envisioning kind of all along, was this jumbo yarn version. And he's just funny. He reminds me of Foghorn Leghorn, or like the clay animation. There's a movie, I'm trying to think what it is right now. The chickens are trying to escape the farm, I believe it is, or something. I remember my kids watching it, and it kind of reminds me of the clay animation chickens, but he still has that shape. He still sits flat bottom. I took out a row here, so his little feet don't stick out quite as far when he's sitting. I did do the beak a little bit different this time. I'm going to go back to the original, I think, where I single crocheted it closed instead of whatever I did here. Not that you're going to know the difference of how I put it on there. The little wattle or gobbler, whatever you want to call this, is sewn into the round as well. Super cute. I love this guy, and I think that for the size he is, let me show you. This cow, obviously, it's got more detail on it and more work and more special eyes, but they're pretty much the same height. And this guy I'm going to put at 20, which was kind of the price point I was looking for. Something that was big, but seemed cheap for how big it was compared to my other things that I have, because he's in jumbo yarn. So I'm going to do 15 on this guy. I'm going to keep working on this pattern though, and I might put out a tester call if you guys are interested in this chicken. I mean, we need another chicken in our crochet life. I don't know, guys, but I love the shape of this, and I'll probably continue to make a few of these at least, and maybe some mods for it. Okay, so that was the chicken. That's all the new stuff. My neck is hurting, guys. Oh, sorry. Cut this out. I might not leave that in there for you people that love to hear a good neck crack. I'm eating a fudge round for breakfast. It's delicious. Okay. Let's get back into everything else I made this week. I made 6 chicken nuggets. Here's 3 of them. I always put different faces on them. Some angry, some funny, some worried looking faces. There's 3. And then I got 3 more. And these will go in the little emotional support chicken like nugget fry containers for 12. So I did 6 of these. I think I had 2 already, so that makes 8 for this show. I sold 15 at the last show. Sorry, fuzz off of those jumbo yarn. I sold 15 at the last show, but it was a 2-day market, and I don't know. I don't know if 8 will be all I'll make or not. I don't know if I'll try to make a couple more, or at least just finish the skein that I started. Might make 2 more and then like leave it at 10. It's like one of those things where I really have a purpose for them. I mean, I do, but I'd like to go and sell out most of my stuff and just start fresh for the year and not have a bunch of extra, I think, left over. But anyway, so I don't know if I'll work on more of those or not. I'm kind of over making chicken nuggets at the moment, but it was an easy thing to do. Pretty mindless just because it's free-handed. That pattern will not be linked below because I just make it up. Okay. I did make 1 more mallard this week, and this is all from Jade's Swinging Animals, except for I just didn't obviously put the swing on it, and I made it in Burnett, so it's bigger. I sell those for 10. I made 3 mini whales. That was on my focus list. If you guys know, I wrote my focus list out. I had 3 more whales because I think I only have a couple left. And these are just little Burnett blanket sized whales. I sell these for 8 in the $8 bin. So I made 3 of those. And that pattern I also freehand, so you won't find it linked below either. I made this little mouse. This is Poggy's Place pattern. These I think are also on sale for Black Friday right now. This is, I think she has like a Burrows Buddies where there's like a mole and a hamster and a mouse, and I put these in the $8 bin, and I may or may not put him on a swing and put him, instead of putting him in the $8 bin, since I only have 1, I might just put him on a swing and put him in the $10 swinging animals. I'm not sure yet. I did make 3 swinging things. This is a gummy bear. Ugh, he just doesn't really want to balance very well. This is a gummy bear on a swing. It's a pickle. Pickle on a swing. And a chick. Chick on a swing. Some of these, I don't even know what chick pattern I used for that, if I just made it up, honestly. So it may not be linked below because I'm just made up the chick pattern on the fly. I did do one spider. This is handmade by Nickel. I had down that I was going to try to make at least 2 spiders. I think I only have 2 or 3 left from the last market, and even, I mean, I don't think it matters that it's Halloween or not Halloween. Originally I started making them towards the Halloween time, but kids just think these spiders are cool, so I sell these for 10. They're super fast. If you don't have her pattern, it's really, you do have to sew the bum onto the body, otherwise it's super easy. Almost got that one memorized. All right, Madeline Miko mallard. This is her baby mallard, or teeny mallard. I can't remember which name she uses on it, but I love this mallard. This mallard pattern, you only have to make the wings and the bill, and you only have to sew the bill on. The wings are sewn into the round, and it's super quick to make up. I put 22 on these. It's the same size as the, actually it's a little bit, maybe not as, the head's maybe not as big. I don't know, I'd have to look, as the cow is, but it's the same series of baby size things. So here he is. Speaking of Madeline Mako, this is an elephant I made out of her baby elephant pattern. This is just burlap blanket yarn, hand painted safety eyes. And see those safety eyes? Ooh, they're pretty. I do 24 on these. I have to look. I think 24 is what I settled on these elephants. The last time, it might have been 26. 26. Y'all, I had forgot to write this on my list because it was on, I had made so much stuff, it was on the 3rd shelf over there. So it was, I'm adding it on here now because I want to make sure that he's in my total. Okay. Yes. Okay, he's in the total now. 26. Madeline Miko's baby elephant. Super cute. I know this is probably going to be super annoying because I keep looking back and forth, and then I keep holding it up to my phone camera and then my other camera. I'm like, they're in different places, but I tried to put them close together. I made a Parker the pig. This is my pattern. You can get it on Etsy. I have a pig, a cow, a gator, a hippo, and a lamb in this sitting animal style where it's just the only thing you have to sew on is the head. This is this coral colored burlap blanket yarn. I sell a pig usually every time I bring one, so that was on my focus list to make a Parker. Important part of these patterns, probably, if you see mine and you go to make one and you're like, mine did not turn out like that, is make sure that you take time to do face, like to shape your face when you're doing your stuffing. It's very important to, like, you're gonna stuff a lot up here above this part where the eyes and stuff are, and you're not gonna stuff as much down on the bottom. I mean, like, you could make a ball, but you don't want to. You're gonna sew that bottom part on there, and you want to maybe go light on the snout so it's not like pushed way out. And then there is a face shaping detail in this pattern where you actually take the yarn from the bottom back up here, and it goes across here and it pulls back down, and that pulls the snout and it makes this crease that's in here. If you don't do that, this kind of just goes straight and it does not look the same. So just follow the face shaping and make sure that you're doing all of those little things. Those little things is what's going to make him turn out to look like the pattern has him. Super cute. I think I wish I would have put the eyes in, maybe another extra row like in or something. I feel like for some reason I put them pretty far out, but anyway. Okay, there's Parker. I made 2 rubber ducks. This is Nana's Hook Nook. This is her keychain pattern, but I make it in jumbo yarn. I sell these for $15. I had on my focus list to make some of these rubber ducks. I think I made 1 last week. I think. And then this makes 3, and that was what was on my list. Yes. So I did what was on my focus list. I made 2 yellows and then this pink, and then I have a green one left, I think. So I'll have 4. 15 a piece. Nana's Hook Nook. Super easy pattern, guys. And really like half an hour. And I'm charged 15, and these sell really well. Okay. Last but not least are a couple keychains. Oops. I'll throw them on the floor. A couple of keychains that I worked up this week. I had 10 keychains on my list, and I have made more than that. Let's see. I can tell you how many I made. I did a really good job of staying on my focus list, but not a really good job of writing it down when I did it. Okay, 2, 9, 12. So I did 12. I had 10 on my list, and I've done 12. And the Stingray, the tumbler, which the tumbler is a YouTube tutorial, guys, that I have. It's just a free YouTube tutorial. If you go back quite a ways, it was in the spring when I did this pattern. And then the ice cream cone, which the ice cream cone is mine as well, and you can get it on my Instagram. The ice cream cone is free on my Instagram. Tumblr is a free YouTube tutorial, and this Stingray is free on Instagram, and is Adu Cotton's free mini Stingray. And I make, these are all Naughty Ball or Posh yarns, and because I just have some structure to them. I like to do my keychains in that yarn now. But if you make this Stingray in Burnett, it comes out a really good size for like the $5 bins. Super fast. So, 3 key chains. So you guys want to know how much I ended up making this week total? Gosh, the most expensive thing I made this week was the $40 turtle. I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I made 30 items this week. Wow. I just heard you guys go wow at home, didn't you? I'm kidding. That was a lot. I was like filling up my shelves, and I kept putting stuff over there, and I'm like, wow, I'm really like, of course I had extra days off work. So I did 4 brand new patterns this week. I've never done before. 2 were tests and 2 were patterns that I bought, and plus my own pattern. I worked on designing that pattern this week, which is crazy that I also designed a pattern in the midst of doing all this market prepping. And then I just tried to stay on my focus list, and guys, like, this focus list has really, really helped me. And that is like when I got back from the market, I just made myself a list of stuff that I sold out of, or that sold really well, or that maybe I only had one of, but I had several people asking for that thing, whatever it might have been. Like, I went through my inventory and like my $5, $8, $10 items, where was I lacking? What was I lacking in those categories? Because, like, for instance, my $5 bin is pretty full, and still, because I had so many Stingrays left, and so I didn't write down anything that was in the $5 bin. I wrote, but my $8 bin was a little more lacking, so I wanted to make had a lot less in it, so all the baby turtles and the whales that are going in there. And I sold completely out of swinging animals at the last show. I had a goal of trying to make 10. I don't know, did I make my goal of making 10? Let's find out. I've not done a really good job of writing them on my focus list. I did some, but not all of them. I made 3 there, 6. I've made 9. So if I turn the mouse into a swing, then I have made 10. There we go. I wanted to make at least 2 Fred the Turtles, but I made 1 jumbo one, and then I'm going to count the succulent turtle as a Fred. I know it's not the same, but it's 2 big turtles. That was really my goal. 3 over ducks, I did that. The spiders, I think I wanted to make some spiders. I think I only made 1, and I had a goal of making 2. Yes, I've only made 1. So I could use a couple more of the spiders. Those go in my $10 bins. Rats are something I haven't gotten to. That's a little free Instagram pattern that I made, and I sold all of them the last time. But I haven't gotten to making any of the rats yet. So that is something on the focus list that I haven't gotten to. Capybaras. I wanted to make 2 because I sold the last 2 that I had to show, but I've only made 1 so far. And then I had Madeline Mako stuff down, an elephant, a cow, and a mallard, and I've done all that. I wanted to make my own pattern of a Gordon, a Betty, and a Parker, and I've only done the Parker so I could do a Betty, which is the cow, or Gordon, which is the gator. And then the swinging animals at the bottom, I wrote down the types I wanted to make, and I've been doing that. So, I mean, this has really helped me. And then, obviously, I went off of that and done other things that I wanted to do in between. But it has really, like, I was spending more time getting home thinking, okay, what do I want to make? And what do I really need? My inventory is put away. I can't see it. And so I just really, like, and even seeing the inventory, like, on a sheet of paper wasn't really helping me. But when I got it all out and organized it all and then wrote it all down while I was looking at it, thinking I need to fill that hole and this hole and this hole, and like I'm not going to have hardly anything up on those shelves. That just really helped me make that list. And then the list has really helped me sit down and be like, okay, what can I make? Excuse me. And not only that, but like when I don't feel like making anything on that list, I don't feel bad because I am still going back to that list every other make or so and trying to make something off of that as well. So, okay, back to what I made this week. Sorry about that. I made 30 items for a total of $430 this week. So this is the 3rd week. I had 4 weeks, counting the week before market prep, to I wanted to make over $1,000 worth of plushie inventory because I only had $1,117 in plushies, and I wanted to go to this show with over 2,000. And so I made total now in 3 weeks, I made $1,010 in plushie inventory. So I've already hit my goal. It's the week before the show. And so this will make $2,127 in plushie inventory that I'll have to take to the show. Including my non-plushie inventory, I'll have $2,613. So I will still have a lot of, I'll have more than 2,000. I'll have 2,613 right now. The week before the show, I always spend, so my plan for this week, I always, early in the week, probably today or tomorrow, I will go through all of my plushie inventory and tag everything and get it all prepped, ready, bagged, put away, so that it's ready for the next market. And then that way, anything I make this week, I'll just tag it, and I won't have to tag everything. Now, my smaller stuff doesn't get tagged. I've only got maybe 20, 25 things that need tagged because it's the bigger stuff that gets tags. Maybe more than that, but not near all of it because I don't tag my keychains. I don't tag my $5, $8, $10 items. So they go in bins that have pricing signs on them. So I got a tag this week, and I have a handprint ornament thing today. Me and Tara, you saw our windows last week. If you saw last week's video, you saw that we painted Christmas windows in town, and then we do this handprint ornament thing where people bring their kids and we paint their hands. They stamp it on a circle. We take the circles, they dry, we write their name and the year, and we make the handprint into something. They choose a design, like there's a reindeer and a Santa and a gingerbread man. They pick a design off the thing, and then we do the handprint based on that design and the color based on that design, and then we do all the details and everything, add all the stuff and write their names on them separately, and then they pick them up the next week at a pickup location. So that is this evening, excuse me, from 4 to 5:30. Oh, we're doing that handprint event today. So I'll be editing, getting this video up, going there and doing that this week. And then I've got to work every day. It's gonna be really hard. I only worked 2 days last week. I got to work all 5 days this week. And I'll probably have a lot to do because they're going to try to shove a lot of work into the 3 full weeks we have before the holidays. But that's okay. It'll keep me busy and it'll be fast. And then I'm just going to try to do what I want to do this week. I might try to get the tester call up for the chicken if I decide I'm going to release that. And yeah, I think that's it. I mean, as far as my plan for this week. Next week's video will be a market recap from this market that's coming up. It is up until the last market that we did, which was the great big huge 2-day market in Springfield. Up until that market, it was the biggest market I had before. And you guys didn't see it last year because I didn't start YouTube until January, but I have high hopes for this market, and me and Tara both did really well there. And it's just a 1-day, 6-hour thing, and it's a very well put on juried show where, you know, you apply, you send pictures of your stuff. They only let so many people in with all the things. They make sure that it's handmade stuff, which is really awesome. The band puts it on at the school, which is a really big band, and they actually help load in, they help load out, they come and ask if you need stuff. It's really nice. And then a lot of times, like last year anyway, the band members actually bought a lot of the stuff from us. So they were loading in our stuff and was already like, oh my gosh, I love this stuff. And they just kept coming back and buying things from our booth. So, which was super fun that there was just high school kids around all day long that liked the stuff that we had. So, and it's usually, I think last year there was 3 crocheters total, which isn't bad for having, you know, almost 200 vendors and only 3 crocheters. And usually there's a variety within our booths and a different style within our booths, and just depending on, you know, how people flow in and out and what animals they like and things like that. You know, we had plenty of business last year, so hopefully it's a really great market. If I could sell over 1,000, I will be very excited. If I don't, that's fine too. It's not that far from us. It's a 1-day show, and it's just a really great event. So looking forward to that. So next weekend will be a market recap for that market. And it is the last scheduled market I have for this year. And for a while, I don't have the spring stuff. Usually the applications for spring shows in my area anyway don't go up until January. And so I can't apply for all of the spring shows until January. And so now till January, what I'll do in this month. So I told you my plan this week. My plan for this month is to look at all the shows, talk to my vendor friends, make friends with some people who do shows, guys, because they have a wealth of knowledge about what shows are great shows and where to go for shows that are worth it. And so I'm going to talk to some of my vendor friends, make some notes about the shows that they suggest for the spring. Spring shows usually aren't as great as fall holiday shows just because people aren't shopping for gifts necessarily, and my stuff is one of those giftable things. It's also a non-necessity type item, so but people will spend the money when it's a gift, and so it's a little bit harder in the spring to make good money. But I do want to have maybe 2 big shows in the spring, like and so my goal is to apply to 4 or 5. So I'm going to write down all of them, their location and their dates, and then watch their websites for their applications, and then make sure that I, you know, try to set some reminders so they go in and I apply to these shows as soon as they get released. Now, if I get into one of them, I will be happy. If I get into all of them, I'll probably have to pull back and be like, okay, I'm only going to do these few. But either way, that's kind of my plan for December, is to figure out what my plan is for 2025 shows, at least for the spring, summertime. Find out when their applications are going to be open, what their dates are that they've released, and kind of make a plan for what I'm applying for. So that's December. Sorry, my paper just fell. So I'm going to do that in December, and then I have a couple Christmas gifts to make for Christmas. So the show's over. I'm going to do a couple relaxing Christmas gifts that are a little less pressure. I have a bunch of patterns that I bought for Black Friday that I cannot wait to try just for the fun of it. I will be reloading after this market. I will be going to the antique mall where we have a booth, and I will be restocking that whole thing with all new plushies that were left from this show, so that, and then posting some social media blasts about that so that local people can know that inside the antique mall is a lot of my plushies, leftover things. So that's also on my list of things to do. And then doing some holiday baking, some relaxing, some gift wrapping, you know, all the fun holiday stuff. So you'll still see me, but next week's video will be a market recap, and then after that it'll probably be more like some pattern reviews, things I've tried, maybe showing you some of the gifts that I made if I've got anything done by then. So that's my December, talking about markets and maybe how I find them, how I decide which ones I'm going to apply for. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more in detail about that as well. The 2025, guys, I would love for those people who watch all these crochet videos on YouTube to let me know, like, in between markets. I don't do a lot of markets in the spring, and I still want to continue showing you guys everything I made this week throughout the springtime. Maybe mixed in with a little bit of pattern reviews, discussions, but I would love for you guys, if you have certain types of videos that you love to watch and would like to see, I'd love to, what's the word I'm looking for, guys? I'd love to sprinkle in a little bit of some variety of videos in the spring and summer while you're waiting on all these market videos to come back in the fall that have been a big hit. So let me know what type of videos that you usually like to watch. Like I said, I've done pattern reviews before. I can highlight free patterns I find places. You know, anything like that. Suggestions, anything that you guys would love to see on this channel in the coming months, in the coming year, as markets slow down for me in the spring and the summer. And I'd love to bring to you guys what you would like to see. So let me see. I think that's all, guys. That's all I have on my list of things that I wanted to bring to you guys this week. Hopefully you enjoyed me slowing down a little bit instead of speed talking through it all and throwing them at you like quick like I did last week. I went back and watched that and I was like, wow, Stacy, like, I talk fast all the time, but man, last week's video, you could have put me down like a 0.8 speed and it would have been like a fast talk. I felt like, anyway, I was like rushing, trying to get it out to you guys, and you could tell in my video for sure. But anyway, again, leave some suggestions down below, guys, for videos for next week, things you want to see. I'll put links to all of the patterns down in the description below, and let me know if you want to see the chicken pattern too. I'm up in the air about whether or not I want to release that, if there'd be enough need. I don't know, do we need another chicken? So let me know, and then I'll see if I decide to do a tester call for that or not. So I think that's all I have. I think I've said that twice now, but that is all I have. Comment below. I love to talk to you guys down there. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, guys. I enjoy coming on here and you guys holding me accountable every week to doing what I say I'm going to do, and or if not, reporting back that I didn't do what I said I was going to do. But I really appreciate the conversations down in the comments below, and you guys showing up every week and watching these videos and commenting, and even just the smallest amount of comments, I really appreciate. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And have a great week, guys. We will talk to you again next week for a market recap. Have a good one, and happy crocheting, guys. We'll see you. Bye.